Hey everybody, it's Shane and
Jameson.
oh, there he is. Today we're showing you how to do a faux wood look with Annie Sloan. A really quick video. It's really easy to do. So first of all, I have painted a base layer of Honfleur, which is this. So we have a base layer all over the entire top of this table, and it has dried. See? Dry. Let me hand this over to Jameson. Also, those watching, leave me a comment, let me know where you guys are from, all that fun stuff. Share the video. Sharing is caring. Anyways, so I have the large Annie Sloan flat brush. It's what I used to put my Honfleur on the top. Well, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some dimension in the color. So I'm going to go over it with some graphite. But I don't need a different brush. I can literally go from one to the next, back to the first one, because it's going to blend the paint together, creating different shades of brown, doing all of that fun stuff that I want to do anyway. So I'm going to get a little bit of graphite, and then I'm going to offload. And if you can, I don't know if the camera will see that, but it's created this really dark gray brown. And the key with the wood look, well, chandelier in the way, that I have found is that you want straight lines. I mean, you're essentially trying to replicate the image of graining. So you want straight directions. You don't want one that's going to come off and come this way or that way or whichever way. You want to try and keep straight lines. So I have a little bit of paint on my brush. Like you saw, I just barely tipped it in the graphite and I offloaded most of it. And I'm going to come through and just lightly dry brush some of this. And what is going to happen is in areas where that Honfleur is really thick, it's going to grab and it's going to leave this imperfect line. That's like the key, is going for imperfection. So a lot of people find the hardest to do. And I want some of my edges to be just a little bit darker. I want some on this edge piece. And also, any questions, please let me know. I'm better at answering questions than I am at waffling on.
See if I can get up here and show what you just did better.
Yeah, I don't think that camera's going to catch it. Try getting it from here. So there's just very light lines created by the graphite. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come back a little bit stronger. Now that I've thoroughly brushed that graphite through my brush, my second offload is going to be just a few shades darker than the first one. And you make a line and it's too heavy for you, it's really not a big deal. That's what I have that Honfleur open there for. We'll get to that in a second.
Jackie says hello.
Hello, Jackie. I will be calling you shortly. See the camera? So now you can see a little better how I have random lines going left to right of the graphite. Hi, Karen. All right, here's that. Now, what I'm gonna do, because some of these lines of graphite are just a bit too strong, so I came back with some Honfleur, and I'm going to dry brush over those, kind of blending them away a little bit.
Chucky said, so very talented.
Aw, thank you so much. You make the greatest candles in the world. I hope I get some of these new fall scents soon. Just so y'all know, I'm going to get a message here in a little bit. She's the nicest lady, unless you poke her the wrong way. And pretty much, it's just, this is it. You just go back and forth in between the graphite. Can you push that lid over a little bit more? You just go back and forth with your graphite and your Honfleur, creating lines and dimension, then blending them back down a little bit, and then coming back, creating more lines and dimension, and then coming back and blending them in a little bit, and ooh, see, there was a lot right there, but that's okay. And you can do this with more than these colors too. It depends on the look you want. Like this piece over here, that was done with cocoa as the main color instead of Honfleur. And as you see, it just has a lighter appearance. This one will be, when it's all said and done, it will be quite a bit darker than that. Okay, now I'm going to come back and I'm going to work some brown into my brush really good. I like using the same brush. You don't have to. I like it because when you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, you're creating all these different shades of brown, which really help with this dimension. Can you get me one of those blue shop towels? No questions?
No?
Usually there's loads.
Yeah, and people are always intimidated by this, but it's not hard.
No, it's super easy. You want to get a few angles of that so people can see what it looks like before I hit it with the magic. So as you can see, there's just all this different dimension, and there's kind of it's built up texture. It has done all kinds of fun stuff. Oh, I just stuck my hands and finger in the paint.
Jackie said super easy for you guys.
Super easy for you too. Super easy for anybody. It's literally going left to right with a paintbrush with black and brown. It's, you don't need to overthink it. It's really that simple.
She said, I will say that I'm learning more and I'm getting much better.
Okay, so what I've got here is Annie Sloan dark wax, which is brown, and a wax brush, a really old wax brush. And I'm not going to clear wax that top. I'm going to hit it with straight dark wax. What I'm doing now is I'm just working it into the bristles really good. I don't want to use clear first because I want to stain this darker. I want it to be darker. I'm going to hit it with the hairdryer real quick, just to make sure it's dry. One more thing I'm going to do. Is just lightly smooth it out. Just because I created a lot of texture. A lot. And that's great. You want some texture. But that was it was a lot. Right. So I've got my blue shop towels and I've got my dark wax. Only Annie Sloan.
Teresa says, hey there.
Hey Teresa, you actually caught one of my lives. Yay. What do you think of that?
Yeah. Very rich.
That's why I said you gotta hit it with the magic. And the magic is the Annie Sloan wax. Now, this wax is staining this paint darker. It's also sealing it all in one. I know I've had a few people that I've told to do this, and then they call me and they message me and they're like, oh my gosh, I've done this, I painted it brown, I did the black, but look how light it is. And I say, you have to wait until you apply the wax. The wax definitely changes it up a bit.
Yeah, Jackie says, wow, that is making a huge difference. It does.
Yeah. Waxed, not waxed.
Mm-hmm.
Waxed, not waxed. And as you can also see, I'm working in sections at a time. Whoop, lost it there. Sections at a time, and I'm flipping my cloth around so that I'm using a clean side so I can actually take off the excess. This one's good. This is probably one of my favorite ones I've ever done.
It is very nice. It's a lot of those details aren't showing up though.
And I'm not, as you can see, I'm not scrubbing, I'm just lightly wiping it off. You don't need to apply ridiculous amounts of pressure. It doesn't take all that much elbow grease. What I can see is that my table, my work table, is horribly unlevel. And you know, a great thing I realized, when I'm doing these motions, whether it's painting or it's waxing, my watch here thinks that I'm walking or running. So it's like, keep up the good work,
Yeah.
keep up the good work. And I'm like, yes, give me them Pokemon points.
Connie says that I love the depth of color it is bringing out.
Yes, me too.
It's very, very rich. It's the only word I can think to describe it.
That's why you want to go at it with different colors. If you did this just on floor, you know, it'd be nice, but it would just be one color. There wouldn't be light shades and dark shades and medium shades. That's another reason why I really like to use the same brush back and forth, back and forth. Like I said, it creates all of these different shades of brown and black when you're using the same brush going in between one and the other.
The sun is real and it's even overcast outside.
Yeah, it's swampy here today. I wish it would just rain already. I don't fare well in the humidity. And you know, there's so many things you can do to play with this. Like I said earlier, you can change out the colors instead of Honfleur. If you want a lighter color, use cocoa as your base color, and you'll have a much lighter color. Then dry brush, graphite, and Honfleur on top of the cocoa. That's probably one of my second favorites. Is this top over here? It's Glenda's coming in.
Oh,
Right.
must be time for some cheesecake mixes.
Yep, time for the cheesecake mixes. But I'm going to wrap it up, everybody. That's as easy as it is. Once it's done wax, it's done. You enjoy your table. Bye.